Hello and welcome to Remind. I am Esther and I'm bringing again a new episode with you with an amazing leader whom we are ready to have a conversation with. Now, Remind, as you know, it is not a conversation about big theories or perfect models. But Remind is all about what leadership actually looks like in real workplaces with real people and real constraints. Today, we are talking to someone who has seen people systems at scale and at speed and used to ask one simple question: what actually works for humans? Our guest today is Kanchan Kedkar. Welcome, Kanchan, to our conversation today.
It's my pleasure, Esther. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kanchan. Before we have our conversation with Kanchan, let me share who is Kanchan. Kanchan is the lead HR at HCL Goovi, where technology, learning, and employability meet everyday reality. She works across large global IT environments and learning led ecosystems, which gives her a very grounded lens on people, leadership, and what it really takes to build capability. And that is exactly why she is here, because our focus always of Remind is human and human centricity. And so we are so excited to have this conversation, which is going to be honest, practical, and refreshingly human. So, welcome once again, Kanchan. Welcome to Remind.
Thank you, Esther. It's a great opportunity and it's my pleasure of being here.
Thank you, Kanchan. Let's get into the conversation immediately. And when we start this conversation, let me start very simple, Kanchan. And my first question to you is, Kanchan, when you look back in your entire experience, what is that one experience that quietly changed how your work with people has evolved? What is that one experience you can share that quietly changed how now you work with people?
Okay, so what the one experience, if I have to, there are many actually speaking. So if I have to call the one experience, I think most important is understanding people. Okay, being empathetic. I think which can cut across whether it is now or in the past generations or in the coming generation. I think the emotional quotient is a very key importance in a people front leading organization, or I would say people front leading functions that all of us play a significant role in whatever we drive. End of the day, all of us work with people. We drive teams, which could be a smaller team or a large scale organizations, and all of us play that critical aspect in whether we are driving the business objectives or it is to do with any product centric organization. So end of the day, it is the emotional quotient which will probably will stay consistent in whatever scenarios that we will evolve in the coming days. And I am sure in the past experience also this has been a key 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 aspect that all of us would have led our people front.
I totally agree with you on this, Kanchan, because more than ever, right now, focusing on the people has become all the more important. Because I think at the pace at which technology is growing, I think there is a void which is getting created in people and connection. And so you very rightly said that people behaviors, the empathy, the emotional intelligence has become such a great importance. It is holding that place much more uh, now than before. So thank you for bringing that perspective. But
Right.
that makes me ask you another question. According to your experience, uh, can you recollect an experience or can you share a situation where something you truly believed in, it could be a policy, a program, or a decision, which did not land the way you expected? And when it did not land the way you had expected, what did it actually teach you as a leader?
Okay. So which means I'm just trying to understand your question. So you're saying what is that one policy which probably we came up, we implemented, and it did not resonate or it did not meet the objective? Is that what your question is, Esther?
Yes. So what I'm asking you here is, Kanchan, that say suppose for example you really worked very hard on a program or a policy or a decision that you truly believed it would work, but it did not land as you expected it to land when you brought it out. So what is that teaching or learning that you picked up from that situation as a leader?
Okay, thank you, thank you. Probably more than a policy, it is a live scenario that I have gone through in my work experience. So, um, sometimes you need to handle proactively. Not sometimes. I think most of us handle our work, our life very proactive, and we calculate a lot of things basis on that. We have our plan A option and a plan B option. So likewise, there was a scenario that we had one of the top customer, a global customer, had to set up their operations with us, and we were definitely wanting to drive or contribute in that particular domain and the particular customer. And we just did a very small project, and basis on that, we also, we were also foreseeing the larger opportunity. And so there is a sense of instinct, there is a sense of a lot of conversations which were very promising, and then there were a lot of other elements which probably help us to drive that we need to set the operations proactively. So it was a scenario that we had to bring people from different locations, especially from Bangalore to Chennai. Okay, and it so happened it's just not one or two people. There were close to some 60, 70 people who had to come into this particular assignment, and we identified their key skills, potential, and not many of them don't want to migrate, and especially from Bangalore to Chennai, Esther, you can make out, people
I understand.
with
Yeah.
location, it's very difficult, to shift your base. But we did conversations with all of them and brought them into Chennai, and our entire setup is done with the infrastructure, what is likely to come, where are we supposed to train people, etc. So we were prepared, okay, and kind of did a lot of engaging conversations. We did have a lot of competitions. We made people to come with a lot of prototypes and all that, so that when the customer hits live on the ground, we are ready. So that's a kind of readiness which came in. And it's so this is a preparation. So bringing 60, 70 of them back to Chennai, and which means we have to run a policy, we need to run some kind of benefits, which actually, people look at that as as a motivation, and they are likely to be aligned with the objective, and as well as so. All this happened, it's so we were ready, and it was one fine morning, a beautiful day, and everything was so positive and everything was going fine. And then we had we had a direction coming from the customer that their leadership got changed at the CEO's level and the CFO's level and all that. Now that change became a key move for us. What will happen to our current engagement? And it was everything put on hold. Now this is a very very hypothetical situation with the rarest that could happen, but we went through that scenario, and it kind of put us on the spot. What do we do? So many of them, we brought them, and most important is that they came with their families, migrated with families, schools, getting their school at, so that level of preparation. Okay. Now, what do I have such a scenario, and me and the business head, Kanchan, what do we do now? It's like we did a lot of conversation, and finally, the situation is uh, we are cutting a sorry figure. What do we do? Um, and we kind of brainstormed, me and my business head, and I said, I think there's nothing much. The truth, you know the situation has to be explained to our employees. Most important, being transparent is the most important element that as a leader you need to demonstrate. And I think that's going to help us. And I think that trust and transparency is going to help us a long way. And I'm sure people will understand, our employees will understand, and I'm with you, and we will go together. So, me and my business unit head, we gathered all the employees on the ground, and we did explain the situation that yes, we brought you all in, and all that, but unfortunately, this is the situation that we are in. Some of us, all of us will think what is next. So we will come with a strategy of your, moving back now. While we understand some of you have invested on your kids' school and all that, we will, come up with a mechanism that you don't have to be under loss. At the same time, we will do a transition, and some of our projects can be, can be worked from here for some time, and we will do it in the period of 3 to 6 months. So the what we intend that we wanted to tell to all the employees is not, we are with you, your career is safe, okay, you have a job in hand, okay, and most important, we spoke about the actual situation, and we've been very transparent of what went wrong and what could have been better. So we did speak about, and how do we engage people. And those days we didn't have a concept of working from home. Okay, it was live setups and all that. So that was also a scenario that today we do not. We can probably manage those kind of scenarios pretty well. So finally, the whole planning, executing, everything went well, but there are certain things beyond your control, and how do you manage that? So I think in this situation, trust and transparency is what helped us, and being trying to understand the employee sentiments, helped us, and employees stood with us during that phase. Nobody retaliated, nobody said anything. They said, okay, we understand when we are with you. And I think that is a sense of respect and belongingness that we built in that process. Okay, so, and I think this is one of the such experience where we did something, everything went right, and certain things are beyond your control. And how do you manage? There is a way out, and I think a consistent approach, how you deal with people, and how you communicate, how you drive that entire journey of experience, makes people to look up to you, and they will understand when there is a crisis situation. And that pretty much helped us, Esther.
I'm like short on words right now, Kanchan, because when I asked what didn't go well, I was like just expecting something small, but this is huge. And you all came out of it like a winner. Kudos to all of you. And what I understand here. See, you said transparency, trust, that honest conversation. And I don't think that it is only in this situation this happened, because if it would have not been done continuously by you, your leadership, your team, uh, trust was not there, then people would have retaliated. But I think the base of the pyramid is really, really solid with that trust, that in spite of such a big thing, because when it comes to family, school, we as parents panic, but the people still stood strong by everyone and moved ahead. Like, that's really unbelievably great, shockingly surprised I am, because it's not moving. Had it been 4 5 people, okay, fine.
Yeah,
But 60 plus people, and then everything going off the plans and still being able to manage. I huge respect the way you did it, and I think your calmness talks about that content. Uh,
thank you. And
and
best part is, Esther, we didn't have anybody leaving us.
wow.
Okay, so everybody continued, everybody went with that same strive and energy. So I think that's not only that situation, I think what we keep doing matters a lot. How consistent you are matters a lot.
Absolutely. I so agree with you. Like, it was just another day. Okay, something's gone wrong in the house and we're here, we'll solve it. That was it just came out like that, and wow. I 10 people, thinking about 10 people is difficult to move them, and you all did it with 60. Amazing. That's, I think that is why the group is known, why and how it is known. The base, the foundation is really, really strong.
Right.
Right. Yeah, amazing. And but when we're talking about upskilling people, this is one experience which helps us, your experience which you've shared just now, which helps us to understand how important these people structures are, a major part of building the organization, because times are unpredictable, situations are unpredictable. But if our people, our employees, whom we partner with every day, if they are standing on that solid ground of trust, transparency, I think it's just a matter of time that all of us sail through all these kind of unpredictable situations. But on a regular work day, Kanchan, if I take you to a regular work day,
Sure.
when when people talk about future ready skills, I mean, to me, it sounds a little abstract, to be very honest. But on a normal Tuesday, what does future readiness actually look like in behavior, according to you?
Okay. So yeah, we are in a very disruptive trending. I keep having this conversation in many of my interactions with different forums. So a disruptive, trending that we are uh, in terms of the technology, upskilling ourselves, reskilling ourselves, learning the adjacent skills. You've touched upon a very important aspect, Esther. Not many of them, talk about this. Behavior is very, very important in this. Okay. A lot of us, we just straight get into in terms of skilling. What is the skill that I need to learn? What will make me, more relevant to the current scenarios or current trending which is coming in? How am I, what is the probability of me, getting more job opportunities or trying to make more money with the skilling and all that. But in this process, behavior also plays a very significant role. Okay. It is more, some of us, probably we are in our early stages of the career, or we are in the mid stages of our career, or we are probably, some of them are in the fag end of their career stages as well, because in organizations we are with multiple generations that we are handling. Given that, I think the most important behavior is adaptability. I think adaptability is a very important skill or a behavior, I would say, a behavior skill that a person has to demonstrate. Okay. It's not that we would know everything in a given scenario. Staying humble, staying grounded, being more flexible, being more adaptable. These are certain behavior attributes a person has to stitch it along when they are trying to upskill. And I think in future as well, this is going to be. This balance has to be there for the future generations coming in. Not that we would know everything. And in this, and I think what I see in the future generation, whether it could be the Gen Z now and the Gen Alpha, which is going to come in, I think patience. They won't definitely have a very huge challenge of patience. Today, everything comes in jiffy for them. But in an upskilling and reskilling, right, you still have to have that patience to understand and learn, because they would have gone through the education systems and a lot many other ways to observe and upskill themselves, and probably they wouldn't go by what the tutor is going to teach them. Probably the tutor says okay, according to them, they will gauge every aspect. I think judging, continuous judging will be a behavior that in future it's going to come in. And I think that judgment should not pull people down. Probably they need to grow. Okay, probably they have to work with the tutor, or they have to work with the trainer, and and some of the expertise where they are going to demonstrate little better, probably they can come forward as well. But in this process, how do you stay grounded? How do I come forward and probably can add value? And how flexible they are and how adaptable they are in that scenario, and not thinking that I know everything, but yeah, I could probably add value in this. Probably I could do more. I have more expertise which I can bring in, and if that small tweaking approach can help in the future, upskilling and reskilling, the behavior is going to be a very key segment that we will be dealing with, Esther. So this is my point of view, and I firmly believe with whatever I observe with the coming generations, and how in every organizations there are 4 5 generations coming in who are there. So I think it'll play an important role, just not for the current generation. I think all of us have to to go with that rhythm.
I so agree with you when talking about behavior. I mean, we are living in that instant age. It's instant noodles, instant learning, instant results, everything instant. But I think behavior is something that needs to be built and evolved, and that truly makes the difference in our entire life and our experiences. And that is something that I also, when I do my corporate trainings and I work with teams and organizations, there is a vast difference which we see, that people who are from the older age, they are okay to listen. The newer ones, okay, I know what she's talking, so let me come to the conclusion already. And then we when I frame a question, and then, oh no, this is not what she meant by this. So it's that instant thing that needs to be worked on through behavior. So well said, Kanchan. But when we talk about the behavior, like all of us as leaders, you're into the industry for so many years. I have been talking across to people who've been really successful just like you. People have evolved through experiences, even in their leadership journey. And that's where I want to know from you, Kanchan, what is that one piece of leadership advice? When you began initially as a leader, you used to give earlier in your career, which now has evolved according to you, and now you say that differently?
Okay. Yeah, yes, sir. I mean, uh, in my experience, probably what I would say is when I started handling a team, the first thing what I did was what kind of scenarios that I went through, which was not right, you know, probably, I should not repeat those kind of, those kind of leadership skill. Okay.
Mhm.
So I think thanks to my own leadership who had given that. See, it's not that they were wrong or they were right. According to them, they were right. But what we perceive on the ground, right? It translates different emotions, different experience because you're dealing with different set of people and with different background where probably not some for somebody it was pretty easy their education, their learning experience. For somebody, it was a lot of hardship, and some had better experience, better platform. So I think most important what I did was when I started off, probably some of the attributes I should not be bringing it. So I practice that how to listen more to people. Okay, listening is important. Sometimes as a leader when you come, I'm a leader, I'm right, I have all the directions, this is the objective, this is what we need to drive, and we're pretty clear, and it's just on a dictator mode, get this done. Many of us drive because we also have to get the job done, right? We also have a role to play, but how that job can be done, how
Mhm.
can you add a learning experience? How somebody can take a lead, somebody can demonstrate. I mean, identifying people's strengths. Some may have better ideas. So my way of looking at is, I make people to speak up. Okay, come with ideas. I don't put forth everything. Okay, not that everything I said you come forward, present your ideas. So I listen to them. Okay, and probably it could be a very different out of the box. So I think a leader has to be more giving more opportunity to people, an equal opportunity to people, not that you handpick and lot many of us always feel we are biased to people. So there is a partiality that is being played. This is always on the other side of the table that people talk about. So what I feel is listening, equal opportunity. Okay, that's another and third is uh, how could they stay motivated. Okay, and that motivation, how do you drive, calling them, identifying them, and recognizing their contributions. And that actually boosts the individual's morale. See, for a leader, is he has a task to do. He People have to respect, what directions are coming in, and they have to respect the timeline, and still hold responsible, accountable, and then drive it with the quality of output. I mean, they should be inspired to deliver that rather. So you're just there to manage them behind the screens. When they fall, you're there to take care. If that aspect is taken care by a leader, so I had actually driven this, and probably. I feel really proud to talk about. I never had attrition in my team throughout my
Wow.
career. That's a track record that I have
Wow.
built. Wherever I had gone, I built a very strong team. And today also, everybody is in touch with me, more or less, they're in touch. But I never had attrition in my team, and nobody left me. And that actually, makes, people leave, because of managers and leaders. But I take pride. So I was able to stitch that. and keep that momentum in people, and and that has made me one of the differentiator in how I have driven my leadership quality.
And that exactly is what I call it through human centric leadership, because it is driven through human approaches, which actually uh, gives you that edge to keep the people together. And so well said, Kanchan, listening to them. And that's one thing which came out very clearly. That's the mark of a real coach and a mentor, where you are asking them their point of view, because their suggestion, their idea, because the minute it is coming from your people, the ownership is already there. We don't have to convince them to do it then, because they own it. It is their idea and suggestion. All you as a leader is doing it, making it a little more better, or adding a little bit more perspective and experience to it, which our team loves. That, oh, this is mine and now it is better with your experience. And that's a great way to manage people, and that is really inspiring. But in all these suggestions, my one last question to you before we get into the next segment is, Kanchan, out of all the entire list of these things that we're talking about, behavior is one of the key aspects. But in that also, if, for example, if a leader is watching our conversation today, and if they are watching this, what would you suggest they should change just one behavior? If they had to change one behavior after today, what would you hope it should be? If for any leader, just one behavior on top of the list, if they can change that after today, what should it be?
Sure. Sure, Esther. Thank you. It's a very, very good question that you've asked. What I have seen or experienced in my working relationship with many of them, we get carried away with people. Okay. When that happens is when somebody expresses their problem. Okay. Somebody talks about if there's a problem with another individual, or it is to do with process. We get carried away with people. Okay, we don't focus on the problem, but we focus on the people. Okay, we start gauging them, we start judging them. And then the person is coming forward and talking about, because the person is not able to manage, because the person is not able to fix on its own. See, when a person knocks at a leader's desk, which means that the person has tried different ways and has carefully thought through before coming to the leader's desk, thinking that, now I'm knocking the leaders, I have to be thoughtful about their time, their availability, because there's lots that they keep chasing and keep driving on the on the business front. So their time is very valuable, and you are going there with a lot of with that hindrance. I have to bring into my leader, and I'm hoping for a solution. But most of the time, what I see is people gauge the individual. They don't focus on the problem. So they don't focus what are the roots of the problem it is. Okay. And they immediately, knock off, yeah, you can do it, or probably it's just to do with you, right? So so I feel one advice, or probably one thing which I strongly want to tell in every forum wherever I have expressed my point of view, I think, please focus on the problem, not on the person. Okay, who it is, what it is. The person has brought in, please see, is it a problem? First of all, understand that, accept the problem. Okay, it is. And if the person has come to you, that means they feel that you can fix that. Okay, and get back to them saying, yes, this is doable. not doable, whatever it could be. So I think these two has to be kept separate when a person comes to you. And this behavior is something that is not practiced much. Okay. The judgment and gauging becomes very easy. I think the mind plays that shift. I think our mind is also like that. So I think I would strongly ask people to practice. Please focus what problems are coming in, which are knocked by your team member. If they come to you, they come with a lot of hope, trust, and they also want to maintain the confidentiality and still ensure that the problem is getting resolved, and the roots of the problems are fixed. And that is where the leader could make that impact, and that's the kind of a portfolio the leader manages. So, and I think this is something I want to pass it on, Esther, and thank you for bringing that question, which probably I always see in every leader. What is that they're missing in this? Why can't they
Yes.
think differently? And I feel,
Yes.
yes, this is where I feel strongly could change the workplace much better.
You started answering this question, Kanchan. I was just smiling from year to year because this is exactly what I say in all of my sessions when I'm talking to leaders. And that is one sentence that I always share with them is, as a leader, condemn the act and not the person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very true.
The minute our focus moves to the action and the act, the person is still a great human being.
Right.
And that solves so much of the problems in an organization with just this approach. And the minute you started saying, I was like, wow, this is exactly what we want leaders to do. Because as a leader, it is our cognitive biases. I agree that because of the experiences, we generalize too much too early, and but we also know how to build behaviors and create a new pattern and new behavior. And so thank you so much for saying this, because coming from a trainer is okay, but coming from a leader who's actually leading people in organization makes all the more difference, Kanchan. So you won that one on the last question.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kanchan. And with this, we get into a quick fun round, which is called as the rapid fire. Now,
Okay.
what we will do is, I will ask you a question. Whatever is your first thought, just go with it.
Okay.
So, are you ready?
Oh, sure.
Yes? Okay. So, let's get started for this segment called the rapid fire. And your first question, Kanchan, is a habit that keeps you grounded at work.
Smile.
Smile. Amazing. Yes, absolutely. Solves so much for everybody. The next question that I want to ask you is one thing leaders overcomplicate.
Leaders
Overcomplicate.
overcomplicate. Okay, this is a rapid fire that you.
Yes.
So I think as the same thing I would say, overcomplicate, focus only on the problem, not on people.
Okay. All right. The next question one thing employees actually want, but they rarely say it.
They rarely
Say. They actually want, but they rarely say.
I think everybody looks up at compensation, promotion, okay, but they don't want to talk in a larger forum, okay. But when it comes to one-on-one, they speak out.
Okay, yeah, I agree. How will it look is the worry always, I guess. Yeah. Okay, another question. If work had one less thing, what should it be?
Work had one less thing.
Yes.
I think meetings.
Meeting.
Hybrid mode has brought a lot of meetings, I think. How the meetings can be lesser because we spend more time in meeting because we are not at office. And then we have to spend time. Even a smallest thing you can probably could have done it at a workplace. But now
Yeah.
you're in hybrid mode. For every smallest thing, you have to have a meeting. So I think that's something I feel
Okay.
strong. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. And that's where my next one comes. One thing, Kanchan, people assume about you and get it wrong.
People assume okay, people think I'm too young, uh, holding a large portfolio. If I have to
Hmm.
say, many people, and thanks to some of my leaders, they say don't go by her size and look. You know, the scale that she handles is much bigger than her. So I think appearance should not,
Okay.
appearance is what people go wrong with me. That's not the thing.
That's not the
Whether it
thing.
is to do
Yes.
with my appearance or the frame that I'm in, and probably the tone. Some of them feel that some elderly person is speaking, but then in the moment they look at me, are you this person? So I think appearance.
It's a compliment also in
Exactly.
a way.
What I mean is, but there is a very different approach after that.
I agree. I agree. I think again that comes to those cognitive biases over the
Exactly.
years where
Top.
um, where people assume that a certain position should be looked like a particular way.
Right.
Uh, yes. Next question, Kanchan. Coffee, chai, or water and willpower?
Water and willpower.
Water and willpower. Amazing. Yes. What drains your energy faster? Meetings or emails?
Um, Emails.
Emails. Okay. And one last question to this segment is one word you are trying to live by all this year as we come to the end of the year.
One word.
Yes.
Okay, one word. I'm very passionate. I'm a very passionate person.
Passion.
Yeah.
Passion. Passion
Passion
is the
defines
word.
me. Whatever I do, whatever I do. It's with heart and soul. So passion is what defines me.
Bring your heart and soul, and rest would be taken care of. That's amazing. Beautiful. And your hamper should reach you soon because you've done amazing in this segment, Kanchan. But that is not all. We have another segment now, and that is
Okay.
called as this or that. I will be
Okay.
giving you two situations. You have to choose one out of the two. Are we ready?
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
it's a quick instinct round. So, you have to pick one. And the first one is thinking it through or talking it out.
Thinking it through. Thinking it through.
Okay. All right. Chole bhature or pav bhaji. You are in Chennai. That's why I'm asking you something very far from Chennai. Chole bhature or pav bhaji.
Pav bhaji.
Pav bhaji. Okay. All right. Fixing it yourself or building someone else to fix it next time.
Fixing it yourself. And what is the next one you said?
Or building someone else to fix it next time.
Oh, yeah, the second one.
Building someone else to fix it the next time.
Yeah,
Amazing.
next time. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Deep work blocks or open calendars.
Deep.
Work blocks
Okay.
or open calendars.
Open calendars.
Open calendars. Okay. Work that stretches you or work that steadies you.
That steadies me.
That steadies you. Okay. Planning everything or leaving room for surprises.
Planning. Yeah, leaving room for surprises are always there.
Okay.
which always happens because you deal with people, you deal with different scenarios. So
Yes.
so how are you
Okay.
ready still there, to make
Okay.
it?
All right. And the last one, silence to think or music to think.
Silent to think.
That's where the calm that you see on the screen comes from, everyone who's listening to Kanchan right now. And that was an amazing, amazing section that you covered and answered all of them beautifully, Kanchan. Thank you so much. One thing that stood out in our conversation and that you actually brought in with the calm, which we can see, and everyone who will be watching you and listening to you can resonate with me, is the calm with which you have answered your questions. And that's a real, real mark of leadership. And so, thank you so much for joining us for this conversation and for keeping it so, so real.
Thank you, Esther. It was, for me, it's a great opportunity to share some of my experience, and thanks to my mentors and coaches and the real time scenarios that I've gone through, I was able to unleash my potential in the given opportunity. So today I am grounded in those kind of scenarios. So that's where I am here. So I'm thankful to all of them who have contributed in my journey.
Amazing, Kanchan. Thank you so much. For all of you who were watching this, who will be watching ahead, this conversation was not about trends. It was about the choices, it was about the behaviors and everyday leadership. And that's what makes this conversation meaningful. So, until next time, when we bring another leader who has shined through these behavioral aspects and kept it human, we look forward to connecting with you soon. And thank you once again, Kanchan, for joining us today. Thank you, everyone.